Hey, I'm Dan from The Verge, and this is the OnePlus 5. And then this is the OnePlus 5T. Now these are virtually the exact same phone, except for two obvious differences and one not so obvious one. So the most obvious new thing with the OnePlus 5T is its display. It's now a 6-inch, 18:9 full screen display. It kind of stretches all the way to almost edges of the phone. It's still 1080p wide and it's still AMOLED, and it's the same basic technology as the OnePlus 5T, but it's just bigger. And what's cool about it is that it's bigger in a phone that's pretty much the same size as the prior model. So the other obvious change to the hardware here, in addition to the bigger display, is the movement of the fingerprint sensor. On the OnePlus 5, it's located on the front of the phone. On the OnePlus 5T, it's been moved to the back. It's in the center above the OnePlus logo. It's basically in the same position you might find on a Google Pixel or other similar phone. And it's the same technology as before, so it's very quick to use and convenient to reach to unlock the phone with your fingerprint. Otherwise, the design of the phone itself is virtually the same. It's the same kind of curved aluminum finish. This is the midnight black model, and that's the only color that they're going to be launching at first, but it still looks very nice. It gets a little bit fingerprinty and it's a little bit slick at first, but it is very nicely made as well. A couple other points of note. You've got the USB-C port, still has OnePlus's fast dash charging. There's still a 3.5mm headphone jack, even though it supports Bluetooth 5.0 out of the box. And then on the side, you still have the ringer switch, which you can physically switch from ringing to do not disturb and fully silent modes, which is kind of unique to OnePlus. Inside, the phone is virtually exactly the same as well. It's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. You can get it with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes of storage. It supports dual SIM cards. Everything is basically the same as the OnePlus 5 on the inside as well. So the performance is really fast. One thing that I've noticed in my short time with it is that it doesn't have any of the jelly scrolling effect that I saw on the OnePlus 5. So that's a big thing. If you can see it, it makes a big difference in your everyday use, and I'm kind of glad that it's not here and OnePlus fixed that problem. Now the other big difference with the hardware is OnePlus has changed up how the camera functions. It's still a dual camera system, but instead of having a telephoto lens like on the OnePlus 5, they've swapped that out for a standard lens that's a brighter aperture f1.7. Now the company says this helps greatly in low light performance, which is one of the weak points of the OnePlus 5. So we'll have to see when we test it to see how well it works. What it does in extreme low light, if you're under 10 lux of available light, it will use a special mode that combines many of the pixels together so that you get better sensitivity. Otherwise, you're still looking at a 16 megapixel sensor here, a 20 megapixel sensor there. They're both full color, and then the system just kind of uses its intelligence to figure out when to use each sensor. Because the fingerprint sensor has moved to the back of the phone, OnePlus has added another way that you can unlock the phone quickly and easily if you don't particularly like using the fingerprint sensor. It's calling this Face Unlock. It uses the front-facing camera to see your face and then unlock the phone. It doesn't have the IR sensors that you might find on an iPhone 10 or a Note 8. It is just using the front camera to see your face, and you can't use it for things like authenticating Android Pay or logging into websites. It's only used for unlocking the phone. Many times you can just double tap the phone, it will turn the screen on and unlock almost instantly, which is very cool. You can see I didn't even see the lock screen there. Because it's just using the front camera, it doesn't have any IR features. You might have some trouble if you're wearing big sunglasses or if it's very dark and you'll have to rely on the fingerprint sensor to unlock your phone. But for most times, indoors, outdoors, you can unlock the phone really quickly by just looking at it, which is very cool. Now the software on the OnePlus 5T is virtually identical to what you get on the OnePlus 5. It's still running Android 7.1.1 Nougat. The company says it's working on getting Oreo out the door for early next year, and it does have a couple beta programs in place for that for some of its other phones, but at launch, this is running Android 7.1.1. It's got OnePlus's launcher here, which gives you some customizability. It's very fast and easy to use, and you can see there's almost no bloatware installed. The only pre-installed apps outside of Google's are OnePlus's community app. So the OnePlus 5T mostly builds upon what the OnePlus 5 already has, and then it improves them. You get a better, wider display that's more modern to use. You get some new Face Unlock features. In theory, the camera should be better performing in low light, which is all very important stuff, but it doesn't get rid of the stuff that made the OnePlus 5T great. It's very fast performance, high-end specs, good build quality, and a pretty aggressive price. So there you have it. That's our quick look at the OnePlus 5T. It's going to be available next week, November 21st, and it's going to cost about 20 bucks more than the 5. So you're looking at $499 for a model with 64 gigs of storage or $559 for a model with 128 gigs of storage. We're going to have a lot more to say about this, including our full review coming up. So be sure to check out TheVerge.com and YouTube.com/TheVerge. This is why we need the garage door on here. Like, shut this off for video. We could even use this as a meeting room with it closed. We could install a smart garage door opener on it. There's so many.
It would look so cool.